Welcome to HIT, Hollywood International Talks, a series of conversations that take place around the globe with international film industry players who influence the filmmaking process, from film commissioners, producers and distributors to film festival directors and filmmakers. All brought to you by The Film Verdict, the premium international film review platform for the industry.
Welcome to The Film Verdict, a new showcast called HIT, which is Hollywood International Talks. I'm Eric Micah, publisher and president of The Film Verdict, and I'm here with my dear colleague Kelly Jones, who's the general manager of The Film Verdict, and we're both attending the AFCI week here in Los Angeles. And joining us today is Stephen Davenport, who is, if I get my notes right, which I can't find, is the head of U.S. production and partnerships from Ireland, and working for and with Screen Ireland. So we got two big questions coming up immediately. One is, what is Screen Ireland? And what is an Irishman doing in Los Angeles today?
Yeah, well, Screen Ireland's the national development agency for the screen industry in Ireland. Yeah, it's broken into three areas. We are the funders for Irish productions, Irish talent. We're also the trainers for the industry. So we train from directors to producers to new entrants into the industry. And then the part that I look after is the film commission side. So we're called the inward production. So before I was looking after inward production coming into Ireland, international productions, helping logistics of our own local productions. And now I am based in Los Angeles, which is also promoting outward the Irish, the Irish offering out to the world as well.
And when did you first open up the offices in Los Angeles?
We opened up in September 21.
Now, your presence in Los Angeles starting in September 21 influence all 14 nominated films that came out of Ireland this year for the Academy Awards?
Kind of, yeah. It was like, of course.
That's what we love. A modest Irishman without a Guinness is pretty darn good.
I would love to be able to take the credit for that, but I think it's been a lot of years of hard work from various different aspects. It wasn't just one nomination for one film. There was an international film, even though it was an Irish film with Banshees of Inisheer. We were very proud to have one of the projects that we funded, an Irish film called On Colleen Kuhn, The Quiet Girl, which was the first Irish language film nominated for the Oscars. And then we had other Irish crew who were working on international projects.
Yeah. Are you able to? I don't want to put you on the spot, and I shouldn't ask that question, but are you able to name all 14 categories or films?
There was Best Actor, Best Supporting Actors. There was Editor, VFX, international film, and I'm trying to remember all the ones for Banshees in general. There was a number of actor categories, and then the Banshees one was definitely for script, director, best feature film. Yeah, I think that's. I don't know if I didn't count the number in my head, but I think we're close. Yeah,
you hit it all through. Actually, it's pretty amazing. We're sort of joking about it, but Ireland's not a massive, large country, although it has wonderful tax breaks for a lot of the film makers and incentives, but yet it is pretty remarkable that this year Ireland just really stood up and was really acclaimed as a great filmmaking country.
I think the thing is that it hasn't happened overnight, right? And I think that's the big, we've been doing this a long time in Ireland, right? I think we were the first film that was filmed outside the Hollywood system that actually went to Ireland back in 1910, I believe, or something crazy, yeah. So we have been doing international productions coming to Ireland, but then we also start seeing the rise of our own Irish directors, Neil Jordan, Jim Sheridan, Oscar nominees, and that started the industry in a dual kind of system that you had international stuff coming in, but also the Irish kind of IP, if you want to call it that way, the Irish kind of the Irish stories, the Irish storytellers, and then their own stories. And I think that's just been accumulated by consistent government support over the years, having a great tax credit, which has been I think it's in close to 30 years we've had a tax credit, and we were one of the first countries in the world to change it for TV. I think we were one of the first, to have a TV tax credit as well, which started with a TV series, Camelot and the Tudors, back a long time ago, which led into the Vikings. And I think that consistency of work always coming through, and the mix of international as well as local has been fantastic. Yeah.
Now, looking towards the future, do you have more pressure to provide more results now every year? What was the feedback from Ireland after this? What's your mandate today to move forward?
Well, I think opening the office shows more further commitment to go, actually, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to kind of cement those relationships with the US studios, keep them as partners. And I think it's going to be very hard to achieve another 14 Oscars next year, example. But we're so proud of schemes like the CineCart scheme, which is an Irish language film, and that's worked with ourselves with the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland, TG Cahir, which is the Irish broadcaster, and Screen Ireland funding Irish language feature films. And I think that's where you see those, I suppose, seeds being planted. That scheme started 4 years ago, and then now you see 4 years later an Oscar nominee out of that. And I think planting more of those seeds, constantly doing that. We're working on training for getting the next generation of crew through as well. We run courses like Passport to Production to get the new people, because we're seeing expanding in studios, and I think that's my big thing, to make sure we're filling the studios, but it's also they're all still creating the Irish IP back at home, the Irish projects as well, and it'll be the two side of that. And yeah, we never know, we can be lucky again and we've done well in the Oscars over the years. So yeah,
the famous expression, the luck of the Irish, but it actually, in this particular case, I think it's the hard work of the Irish, which often has gone on slightly unnoticed, but the amount of talent that's there on the screen, behind the screen, and then of course with the film commissioners and everyone else who's created this concerted effort. How did you get the lucky straw to come out to Los Angeles, or is it a lucky straw for you?
Right at the pandemic. Right at the pandemic.
Exactly. I suppose we looked at the office, and they were looking at the original plan was to appoint somebody from over here to take over the role. And I think they looked at it, and then my background is film. I've been working in the film screen industry in Ireland for 25 years, and I think that's where I've, done everything from, being a production assistant to my main job was location manager for around 12 years, and then production manager, line producer. So I had this really varied skill level throughout the industry, and I kind of I know the industry in Ireland quite well. And then, so that's one of the reasons why I joined Screen Ireland as well, to do that kind of promotion and to know what was going on. And then it just seemed to be a natural fit for me to come out to set up the office. That was the plan. I'm still here in year 2. So and
you're practically a native now.
I'm getting. I realize I'm here longer than some other people already. So, and I have a little boy who's 7 who's now got a full American accent and is a second grader. So he's and he's settled into. He started playing baseball now and a few other things. So he's settled into life in LA as well. I think it's a very easy place to settle into. It's very familiar. It's got that, I would say the weather's great, but the weather's been worse than Ireland for the last 4 months. It's been raining since December. I don't know what. I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah, we actually wanted to talk to you about that.
Maybe I've brought the weather with me. It's like,
what are some of the, I want to preface that this podcast is not listened to by anyone in Hollywood, nor the Hollywood studios, or anyone important in Hollywood. So tell us the truth. What's your opinion about, the whole Hollywood approach? It must be so different from, coming from Ireland and working on films and so forth, and being here in Hollywood or in Los Angeles. What's the first thing that strikes you? And by the way, I was being facetious about no one listens to us here.
No, I think it's very similar in the system, and I think someone said on one of the panels earlier on about Hollywood is a big city, or LA is a huge city, but it's a very small film town when you get into the size of it, and the executives all know each other and everyone and it's the same. I suppose we're in a smaller kind of industry in Ireland that we're still producing 20 films a year, about maybe 8 to 10 TV series a year. So it's like there's always that smaller, and then we've all the international coming in on top of that. So this is where it's like we're like a smaller scale and stuff as well. I would say it's not as glamorous as some the red carpet stuff events here, but it's like it's kind of similar.
So all in all, you've been pretty pleased with the decision of moving your family here in Los Angeles. Yeah,
it's been great to experience something different, especially after COVID. Because I think the first thing we all realized, we're locked in the spare bedroom in our house. If you were lucky to have a spare bedroom, you were in the kitchen table with kids and stuff climbing over the place. But I think that's I think having that opportunity, especially, because you think you get settled into a role and then all of a sudden there's now a new opening and to come over to LA and to be part of that has been brilliant. And I'm very proud of representing Ireland over here. I think that's one thing for me that I feel like, that Ireland has a say in this. And there's not that many film commissions based out here as well, which I was surprised. There's a number of us. And I think it's good for us to be there to show that presence and to be kind of, consistently going, hey, don't forget about Ireland. This is what we're doing. Any new changes are very easy to connect with people. And then it's not just me here. The government put a bigger presence. So we have a consulate, consul general, vice consul general. So there's kind of a cultural officer as well. So there's a bit of more of an Irish presence, and we can work together and do events and in the promotion of Ireland.
Well, speaking of events and large things as well, I believe later this year it's later this year that the symposium is moving to Ireland. Is that correct?
Yes. The other part, I'm very proud, a board member and treasurer of AFCI as well. And we're delighted that Limerick put in a bid, film in Limerick. Paul Ryan is the film officer down in Limerick. And they've won it, which is fantastic, to bring this, this brilliant celebration of film officers around the world to be focused on spotlight on the Limerick region.
Well, we're fortunate enough. We're actually going to be there, and I have to admit that this usually is not my podcast. This is called Showcast, and the original host, the phenomenal host who knocked this off, is Matt Matucci, who actually is in Ireland, and he does our international podcast from all over the world. We send him to film festivals, and he's based in Ireland, and so he's already been speaking with Jacqueline about attending the symposium and doing a whole series of podcasts when we're out there. So for him, it's just a drive down the road.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think that's what I think Cineposium in Limerick as well. I think we're going to give everyone the Irish welcome, the Céad Míle Fáilte, that we're very famous for. And I think it's just and celebrating the Irish, what we've been doing in the industry and growing as well. And then also, bringing hopefully giving some of our expertise to some of the other film commissions, what we've been doing.
Well, thanks so much for your time and this busy day. And since you're in Los Angeles and we're in Los Angeles, we should get together and have a Guinness together.
Oh, yeah. I'd love that. Yes. Well, we are doing a launch of Cineposium tomorrow. So maybe we can come along
2:00 in Fairfax or something like that, right? Yes, we're there.
So we can celebrate over a Guinness and
Cheers.
and do it that way.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Cheers.